It began as an ordinary date night, and by dawn, a young woman's life had vanished. On the night of April 1, 2024, 19-year-old Milwaukee College student Sade Robinson left her home for what should have been a fun evening. By morning, her car was found ablaze and abandoned 3 miles from home. Nearby, in a quiet riverside park, a grisly discovery was made: human remains scattered on the shoreline. Who had the heart to do this? And why was Sade nowhere to be found? These questions would grip investigators and a heartbroken family alike. "It's not somewhere that you find a lot of people," recalled the detective who found a leg on a rock at Warnemont Park. That single fragment was all they had at first: a leg, no other body parts in sight, raising terrifying questions. How had Sade gone from a date night to being a victim of a brutal crime? What the detectives uncovered in the days that followed was more horrifying than anyone could have imagined. Security camera footage shows Sade leaving her Southside Milwaukee apartment building around 9 a.m. on April 1st. She worked a shift that day at Pizza Shuttle and charmed her boss and coworkers. She always said, "What's up, Sade?" And she'd go, "The sky, Mark." "I miss it," her former manager later recalled. After work, Sade came home to change. That afternoon, she texted a man she had recently met, 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson, a bartender she'd met 3 days earlier. They agreed to meet for a first date. By 5 p.m., Sade's Life 360 location app, which shares real-time locations with friends, showed her leaving for her date. They met at the Twisted Fisherman, a riverside bar in Brewers Hill. Security footage captured them sitting at the bar together, but even on camera their dynamic was odd. The detective on the case noted Maxwell chatted mostly with the bartender and barely looked at Sade. Still, she gave it a chance. Their date continued at a second bar, Duke's on Water. There, Sade finally relaxed. Security video shows her smiling and playing beer pong with Maxwell late into the evening. This was the only time she seemed happy. Witnesses later said she laughed and mingled, a stark contrast to the tense mood earlier. Finally, around 9 p.m., they left the bar together. According to phone records and cameras, Maxwell got into Sade's car and drove her to his house on the south side of Milwaukee. By 9:30 p.m., Sade's phone pinged at Anderson's home. Her date was still in progress. After midnight, something changed. The Life 360 app showed Sade's phone leaving Maxwell's house at 12:30 a.m. and her car heading toward home. But it didn't go to her building, it passed her street, then began circling the city for hours. Surveillance cameras caught Sade's car driving aimlessly around Milwaukee with fogged-up windows. Detective Joe Donner later described it: "It seemed to be going all over the place. There was no rhyme or reason to where this vehicle was going that night." At 2:53 a.m., Sade's phone arrived at Warnemont Park on the lakeshore. Shortly after, the battery died. Cops reviewed nearby security cameras and got a chilling glimpse: a grainy figure dragging a heavy object into the darkness along the park's lakefront. Detective Donner, studying the footage, pointed at the screen. "The final time that the camera comes up, you do see a large backpack on their back," she said. When asked who it was, she didn't hesitate: Maxwell Anderson. This revelation struck fear into Sade's mother, Sheena Scarborough, when she saw the news. "Who is this person? How do you know my daughter?" she cried. Indeed, Maxwell Anderson was the last person seen with Sade. He had met her just days before and seemed charming, 6'1", with a military background, a brief Navy stint, and a quiet home of his own. But detectives soon discovered a dark side. Maxwell had a criminal history of assaults and a violent temper. In fact, he'd once beaten a man during an argument and pleaded guilty to battery. Police moved fast. By April 4th, they had enough to consider Maxwell a suspect and swarmed his home. Detectives knocked, watched, and ultimately arrested him on a street near his house. He was handcuffed and immediately demanded a lawyer. Inside his home, they expected a carnage. Instead, they found chaos. There was no big bloody crime scene, Detective Donner noted. No pool of blood on the floor, no obvious body, though investigators did find something telling: blood stains on bedding and on walls leading to the basement, plus gasoline containers in the garage. Meanwhile, on the north side of Milwaukee that same morning, firefighters had put out Sade's car, confirming the burnt vehicle belonged to her. Outside Maxwell's home, more evidence emerged. Along a railroad embankment near where the car burned, volunteers found gruesome clues. A friend of Sade's named Kiki searched the woods and discovered a pink and white blanket she recognized from Sade. The very next day, another volunteer named Arlinda found a human bone near the train tracks. The area had already been searched by police, yet these pieces of Sade were only uncovered by civilians scouring the dark woods. Detectives were frustrated. As Donner admitted later, it seemed like every hopeful lead, I got disappointed each time. Just when the case seemed stalled, a new witness broke the logjam. Chloe Wright, Maxwell's ex-girlfriend, came forward. She was shocked to learn Maxwell was a suspect by then. Body parts had been found in several locations. Chloe described Maxwell as secretive but revealed one crucial secret. He had a hidden lakeside spot. He said, "I'm gonna take you to this secret beach." Eventually he took me there, she told investigators. She had a vague memory but no name. Maxwell even refused to say where it was. The police asked Chloe to retrace her steps. She drove detectives on a winding route, eventually stopping at Warnemont Park, the very place where the leg had been found. Detective Donner was stunned. This was Maxwell's so-called secret beach, a spot only he knew. Just having that proof that he knew about it and was familiar with it, that he referred to it as his secret beach, that was pretty big, she said. With that evidence, everything clicked. The grainy figure dragging something was Maxwell on Maxwell's beach. The blood in his house was explained. This was where the dismemberment happened. As Donner bluntly put it, this is where he dismembered her. In the light of day, authorities filed charges. On April 12, 2024, Milwaukee police officially charged Maxwell Anderson with first-degree homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson in Sade's death. The trial that followed would prove the full extent of the crime. In June 2025, a jury convicted Maxwell Anderson on all counts. By August 2025, he was sentenced to life in prison, with no chance of release. The judge declared that Anderson had shown no remorse and even threatened public safety with his deluded denial. In court, he still proclaimed innocence, but the evidence was irrefutable. For Sade's family, justice came at an unimaginable cost. Her 17-year-old sister Adriana described how their lives were shattered. "All my sister did was meet someone, and he stole her life. I cannot meet any person without the fear that they're going to harm me," she said through tears. Sade's father spoke of night terrors and constant mental chaos from the uncertainty left behind. The family even received Sade's posthumous college degree with heavy hearts, knowing she worked 2 jobs and dreamed of a future that was taken too soon. Though the courtroom battle is over, questions remain. Sade's head has never been found, and Maxwell has refused to explain what happened to it. Her loved ones still seek peace and answers. But through a relentless investigation, from analyzing phone app data to following a victim's unspoken app, the truth did emerge in time to hold a killer accountable. This detective story reminds us how quickly a normal night can turn deadly, and how small clues, a location ping, a discarded blanket, a remembered secret, can break a case. If you found Sade's story compelling and want to help shine light on similar mysteries, please subscribe for more true crime investigations. Each view and share keeps these real-life stories alive and honors the memory of victims like Sade Robinson. Let us know what you think happened to Sade in the comments below, and thank you for listening.